So that was treat number one. Now we have treat number two. All right. Um, Absolutely an honor and a pleasure. I met through Sandra Howard, really, was the connection here with Gila, and I got on Gila's Facebook page and just started communicating, and then it dawned on me in the fall that we need to have this woman here to give us an evening presentation. So it's extraordinary. She is extraordinary, and it is my honor to read your introduction. Get my goggles on. Gila Malamed is a travel storyteller, artist, and author whose work explores the intersection of nature, adventure, and personal transformation. Living a nomadic life for several years, she has traveled extensively, documenting landscapes and encounters that shape her journey of healing, resilience, and self-discovery. Through visual storytelling and intimate reflections, Gila invites audiences to consider how nature and a human connection can become powerful sources of meaning. Her work is grounded in honesty, vulnerability, and lived experience. Let's put a warm welcome, our hands together, and welcome Gila.
Good evening, my Canadian friends. You hear me? Yes. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here with you. My name is Gila Melamed. I'm a travel storyteller and an artist. But most of all, I'm a simple soul who shares her life on the open road with an honest heart and a naked soul. When I first started putting this presentation together, I thought I will take you step by step through my journey, month by month, place by place. However, I quickly realized I don't have the time to take you on a 4-year journey. And I cannot fit all my photos into one slideshow. After all, that is what my books and my website are for. So instead tonight, I would love to share with you a glimpse of how my adventure in nature brought serenity into my life and helped me find my true self in the process. I would love to share the incredible landscape that stole my heart and brought me to my knee in awe and wonder. And of course, the beautiful souls who enter my life. Okay?
Yep, we're just doing a little adjust here. Go ahead.
That enter my life and quietly help me heal, while gently creating a ripple effect as a testimony to our human connections. I'm not standing here as an author. I'm not here to promote anything. I'm simply here to give back what was given to me by other stories, the inspiration to follow a dream. Before I continue, I need to share a little bit about my past. Not to dwell in pain, but to offer contents. Because healing did not come from forgetting where I came from, but by changing my relationship to it. This is not necessarily a story about travel. This is mostly a story about what happened when a soul learned to walk alongside fear and start listening to life. I was born in 1968 in Haifa, Israel. One of my earliest memories around the age of 4 is of a very curious, wild, and adventurous little girl. Unfortunately, that part of me did not have much space to grow. My childhood was a very lonely place, as I never truly felt a sense of belonging in my family. It was shaped by the physical and emotional abuse of my father. The one person who gave me some sense of connection was my mother. However, that was short-lived, as she passed away when I was 17. The final year was a slow process of witnessing her dying, something that still echoes in my heart. At the age of 18, I joined the Israeli army as a part of the culture. Looking back, I think that was the first sign that living in the wild might suit me well, as I probably was the only woman that actually had fun in boot camp. A few months into my service, I began dating the man who later became my husband, and now is my ex. After completing our military service, as it's called in Israel, many young people travel before returning home to begin school or work. We decided to tour the United States and arrived in June of 1990, thinking it will be a temporary adventure. I did not know then that this adventure would quietly shape the rest of my life. The first decade of our marriage was beautiful and full of love. I married kind and gentle men, but after the birth of our sons, everything changed. The man I had married was no longer the man I was living with, and his action created deep trauma in my life. I felt trapped. I had a 6 months old baby and a 2 year old child, and I made a promise to myself and to them that I will do everything in my power to give them a good life. As a family, we enjoy many wonderful good times, but as a person, I was slowly disappearing. I lived on autopilot, emotionally numb, moving through life without truly belonging to it. Depression became a constant companion, and thought of suicide visited me daily. As my boys grew older and started spreading their own wings, life at home felt even more suffocating. What saved me every single time was my responsibility as a mother and my dog, who became my hiking partner. Hiking in nature quite literally kept me alive until July of 2016. That summer, the depression reached a depth where I no longer cared about anyone or anything. Death felt like a sweet ending. My original plan to end my life on a one-way hike changed instantly when I find myself driving along on a highway that is usually busy, speeding toward an overpass, fully intended to crash. In the very last moment, I remember a promise I had made to my therapist to give her one more chance. That promise saved my life. The next day, when I met with my therapist, she said one simple sentence. She said, Gila, you made a decision 17 years ago. Maybe it's time you make a new one. That day, I went home and asked for divorce. In a matter of seconds, a burst of life entered my lungs and a massive weight lifted from my body. That moment did not fix everything, but it gave me something far more important. It gave me a second chance. As I started putting my life back together, I made one core promise to myself: never to be numb again. Today, we are fortunate to have access to research about emotions and feelings. I began educating myself to better understand my emotions and the source of my emotional pain. One of my main teachers had been Brené Brown. I immersed myself in her work and began the journey back to the little girl I once was. In March 2020, I injured my back, and after a long recovery, I lost two of my biggest passions: backpacking and being a volunteer ambulance driver. But in a surprising way, this injury became a gift. It made me stronger, and more importantly, it became the final push that led me into the open road. In late September 2021, I woke up so stiff that I had to crawl out of bed. Sitting on my yoga mat, I asked myself how much more I would lose before giving myself permission to live the life I dream of. That morning, I decided to give my second chance in life the opportunity to create what in my heart has always felt like my true belonging: living in the wild. As I always do when I set my heart into motion, I put my heart and soul fully into action with the awareness that there's no guarantee of the results. After a year of planning and a few changing along the way, I rented my apartment and hit the road. So I pretty much introduced you to a lot of the picture, but one thing I did not mention is my apartment. I put that picture because you can actually learn a lot about myself from these photos. So this is not really a stage picture. It is 24/7 uh, the stage of my apartment. Very organized, clean, everything in place. But that explains how I can live in such a tiny space. So the first year, I traveled in a Mazda CX-5. The only two positions I was having is I was able to lay down and I was able to drive. I was not able to sit on my bed. Thankfully, I'm today flexible, so somehow I was able to put my clothes on. Um, but another thing you can learn from this picture is how much I actually pushed myself the second year. So the first year, of course, was full of fear. But at least I had a lot of time, most of the time, I knew where I'm staying for the night. I have reservation. Everything was pretty much like my apartment, very organized. So there was a tiny comfort wrapping the fear that I had. What I learned through my first year that the self-empower I give myself, giving me really the power to reach to my most potential as possible. So I decided that I need to push further. And I call my second year traveling with the wind. But in truly, it was me traveling, swimming against my own current because no reservation, no plans. The only plan that I had, the only one date I knew, I have June 1st, I had a ferry to Newfoundland. That's the only thing. Everything else was wide open. It took many, many months for me to relax into um, finding my place. And I got even to the point when I called it, I like finding Waldo. In the evening around 6 o'clock, it was interesting to see how my brain changed to a kind of a survival mode and very quickly scanning the area and finding myself a place for the night. But as I say, it took many, many months. Uh, Here and there, I will have small images to remind me other things. So you're probably asking what I'm doing this year to push myself out of my comfort zone. Standing here in front of you. This is definitely, you probably cannot hear my heartbeat, but it's pounding. Um, but that's, uh, but that's where I think growth comes when you're willing to push yourself further and further. Whoop, one more back. No, backwards. Yes. So I wrote this quote in a very fearful moment. But the simplicity of those words really helped me push forward again and again. I remind myself that whenever I'm willing to jump over that edge of fear, I find my wings. And the only way to find my wings is to fully willing to jump over the edge. I am standing here today feeling stronger than I ever felt before. Not because I gained confidence that only experience can give, but because I did not let fear push me away. I still remember a conversation I had with Ron, my youngest son, just 3 weeks before I left. I asked him to make sure I will not chicken out at the last minute. You see, there were two main emotions running through me, two very strong emotions, almost on the opposite end of the spectrum, absolute excitement and total fear. I believe that what I experienced during the quiet hours of the nights before I left were panic attacks. Fear is such a personal emotion. We all experience it differently, and each of us has a very intimate relationship with it. What helped me the most to move through my fear and keep the excitement alive was not necessarily the fear of the journey itself, but the fear of not giving myself the chance, the opportunity to follow my dream. I was not afraid that I would discover this dream was not what I imagined. I was terrified that I will miss giving myself the gift of freedom, the freedom I felt every time I took a short solo trip in the past. Today, as I share this part of me with you, it sounds almost like a distant memory. I can hardly believe how far I've come, simply by being willing to gently dance with fear, with respect and honesty. And somehow that has brought me here today, feeling strong, grounded, and yes, a little bit of a badass. Okay, no notes for a while. Oops. So, October 2nd, it's a Sunday, it's 2022. I'm heading out. Not the sunny day I was hoping for, I'm heading to rain. Um, my first destination, the big destination, is the Smoky Mountain National Park. I learned through my research that I will travel through the Blue Ridge Parkway. And as you can see, I was not sure if I will be able to get the foliage, but I got very, very lucky. So 6 days into my journey, I get a text from a friend. Actually, the night before, I get a text from my friend. Are you aware of a cold front coming your way? So note the fact that I'm not even aware, I'm not even prepared. I thought this is October, in a month I will be in Texas, no problem, I can handle a little bit of cold. I wake up for a very frigid morning. My hands are freezing, are painful freezing. I'm trying to make breakfast, I'm trying to get something, uh, coffee going on. And I realized very quickly that I am not on vacation. I committed myself for a year of a journey. And if I'm not willing to be flexible, adaptable, and accept whatever my way, I better turn around and go home. But guess what? I am not turning around. I am not ready. I'm heading off. There was a lot of fear of the idea of dealing with a cold. Actually went and I bought another jacket. That's how much I was not prepared. Um, and the moment I realized that my fear is more emotional one, because I'm inside a car, I have plenty of layers, nothing will happen to me. It's just more emotional challenge. It was a little bit easier. To tell you it was easy, no, it was very cold. Um, I was not having a good night's sleep, but I managed, I survived. As you can see, I got to the Smoky Mountains, and it's beautifully frosted and amazingly beautiful. And I named that slide Alone, Yet Not Lonely. My first post, in the end of it, I put my concern that really concerned how lonely this journey will be. I'm by myself. This has been far from being lonely, this journey. The beautiful soul that entered my life in the last 4 years is just a blessing, absolutely a blessing. So as I go up, hiking into a hike, a group of 6 women ahead of me going backpacking for the night, and one of the lady turned around and started talking to me. That was Betty. Uh, we noticed that we're going to be in the same campground, so they invited me the next day to join them for dinner. It was a beautiful, cold dinner, but I got invitation from all 6 women to come and visit them as I was traveling. And I did visit Virginia when I got to California. But Betty and I start a beautiful relationship and a friendship that's still lasting. And every year we meet, make sure that we find our way and meeting and traveling together. So I get to Texas, the many gifts of Texas. So I put a note here to explain a little bit of my writing, because while I'm explaining to you, I'm actually trying to explain it to myself. This is, in a sense, it started from my friend asking me to blog as I travel, and I was like, yeah, no way, you're asking the impossible. Of course, English is not my first language. I never even imagined to sit down and write, but the more I ignore, the only way I can describe it, there was a voice outside of me that forced me to write, and not just to write, forced me to share. And the idea of my books are not even my idea. It's the many women that were following me and reading my blogs and my posts that encouraged me to turn my writing to a book. Actually, the third book I dedicate for all those women that put that idea into me. But that's one of the comment. Is it bad that I don't want you to go home? I want to keep seeing the world through your travels, writing, and photos. And many, many beautiful compliments. And almost every time I decided what I'm doing, this is too much. I am too open here. The universe will send me a comment from a lady that I'm like, okay, I know, I cannot stop. I will continue. Um, so I'm in Texas. My idea is that I will get to Sirim State Park. I will travel through the Gulf of Mexico, and I will camp um, on the beach. It's free. I'm taking. Um, there is a funny story. Well, while it was happening, it was not funny about Sirim. I don't have the time right now to share it, but in the question, if you want, I will answer. But I truly believe today, without this event, I will miss meeting in Ramona. Now, before I get to Ramona, um, I know you bird lovers. Um, this is the first time I'm experiencing the pelican I fall in love with this bird. Today I call this bird my beautiful ugly bird. Um, every time I have the opportunity to be in their present, I'm in awe and their flight. Everything about them are just majestic to me. I put a little bit note here, another image to remind me, a very funny story of how perspective really can change and melt fear instantly. So as I'm driving, it's already I'm 5 weeks on the road, but there is an edge to my driving, and I don't understand it because I've been traveling in the past and never, never had that edge. Um, did I? Okay, I never had Siri on. Oh no, how's that going? Anyone know how to take it off? Cancel Siri. That helping? I actually never used that. Well, hopefully it will go away. Um, so, uh, so here I go. I'm traveling and I still have that. Krista, you're welcome to see how to take it off. Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna yell at Siri.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, Siri, turn off. Hey Siri, turn off.
It might smell. Sorry, guys.
Okay, Siri, turn off.
Oops. All right, hopefully it will go away. Um, so as I travel, and I'm getting to Galveston, and I'm still there is that edge that bugging me, and I'm realizing that there is no way I can get lost. I have no fucking idea where I am to start with. I am not kidding. From that moment on, everything just melted. I was just traveling today. Every bend that I don't even see what the turn is excitement. A road that take forever for endless horizon is excitement. So just simple understanding sometimes can just take away that edge of fear. But I want to introduce to Ramona, a very special person in my life. And she was supposed to be here today, but unfortunately she had a family emergency and cannot be here. Um, so Ramona is a follower that started to follow me from the beginning, and she was messaging me with a question as I was heading to as my travel. And that was the end of October, and we are start messaging to each other, and we realized that we might be in Padre Island around the same time, and we set up that we'll meet. So Ramona is actually from Vancouver Island, and we meet, and two women walking on the beach, separate, different age, different countries, but with a very vulnerable, just open and raw, vulnerable conversation about our traumas, our pain, but one thing in common between us. We know that the responsibility of our healing is in our hand. And Ramona shared with me her journey with compassion and forgiveness. And I still remember thinking to myself, lady, I have no idea what you're talking about. I am still having anger on my shoulders toward my father and my ex, two people that hurt me the most, and I don't want it. This is not who I am. It's not belong to me, but it's still heavy on me. And we continue. We are still, as you see, she was supposed to be here today. We are still very much in touch, and I, I'm recording this especially for her. Um, I'm continuing my travel, and I get to Utah. So there is one story about Canyonland that I need to share with you, because that story taught me a lot between my fear and my intuition, my gut feeling. So that hike, it was January. I thought I'm going to be only a half day in Canyonland, the Needle District. It's an hour and a half south of Moab. And I get there, it's a very remote, maybe I see 5 cars. It is winter after all. And I start taking a hike. I know I'm by myself because there is no cars in the parking lot. And I start hiking. Now, I've been hiking by myself for many years. Love it. I enjoy the solitude, the silence, but something there is hitting me in my stomach. Fear is just taking over me. But I keep going. There is just that little part of me that tells me to continue. This is the first time ever that actually I turned music to try to melt that fear. And I keep going. After probably like a few miles, I think after 3, 4 miles, I did start to relax a little bit and continue further. A year later, I'm in Colorado. I'm parking in a rest area for the night, and I go into the bathroom, and I just starting to kind of brush my teeth, and my whole body is screaming me to get out of the bathroom. I cannot explain to you where it came from and what it is, but I know I right away listened to that message and I took myself out of it. So what I learned from those two experiences, that when my little Gila, in a sense, telling me to keep going and let that fight that fear, I continue. I listen to that. But the moment all my parts is telling me to abort, I right away I don't even question it and I turn around and leave. That is my experience with that. Of course, there is no way for me to prove it, but I will continue to listen to my intuition. First of all, you probably can see what is my favorite movie, Forrest Gump. So when I learned there is Forrest Gump Point, I had to make sure that I will travel through it and be my own Forrest Gump. I get to Rocky Mountain National Park, that picture actually, on my birthday. I'm 55-year-old there. And my boys are coming for a visit. Actually, my youngest uh, son lived in Boulder then, and my oldest in San Francisco, so he come for a visit. And every birthday, I have to be in nature. That's my celebration to myself, and of course, having my boys with me is amazing. Not knowing that the Rocky Mountain National Park will get later on in life, later on, a very, very special in my heart. I continue for the Grand Canyon. Wow. Massive, just massive. But what fascinated me the most about Grand Canyon is the texture and the color of the rocks. And I was hiking with a friend down the Grand Canyon. We are going down to the Phantom Ranch. Whew, quite a hard hike, but I enjoy challenges, so I took it. As we were going down, that green color of the rocks really, really fascinated me. It's that hunter green with that little bit of hint of a black that just was just incredible, incredible, beautiful. And I continue to Sedona, the power of forgiveness. I get to Sedona February, there early February, and a snowstorm. I find myself in a snowstorm. So of course, there's no way I can. I try not to camp in my car because I will be very uncomfortable, and I'm not here to suffer. I'm really here to have fun. So I take a cabin in the campground. It's a very dark cabin. Luckily for me, I have reception, and I decided that it's just too much. The heaviness of anger in me is taking a toll on me. I don't want it. It's time to let go. And Ramona conversation come back to my mind, and I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe I don't understand what is forgiveness is all about. And I do what I do when I don't understand emotion. I do all the research I can about it. TED Talk, YouTube, um, podcast, anything that I can hand my hand on. I have plenty of time, and I research and research and research. It takes me a week or two to all that information to sink in and to realize that not my father and not my ex really meant to hurt me. It was really a reflection on their own pain, and I was just unfortunately uh, in the way that I was an easy target to reflect that pain. And that simple understanding just lifted a lot of weight, and It was incredible. It's a gift to myself, most of it. So I will highly encourage whoever dealing with some pain, find out what is forgiveness for you. It's a very powerful. Um, so that was happened in February. In April, I'm in California, and I'm in Pacific Grove, and I'm stealth camping on the street. And the seagulls are waking me very early in the morning, and I know also I need to get early from the street. So I Google what's the first restaurant that is open for the breakfast. Because today restaurant is not necessarily about the food, it's more about the bathroom for me. That's where I can wash. That's where I can refresh myself and start my day. But as I park, there was a homeless guy come and he's talking to me while we're outside. He's also living in a Mazda. I set up my car and I go into the restaurant and he's sitting there. He's sitting across from me, a few tables are away, and he's looking at me. Now, I will tell you, I will be the first one to admit, a few months before that, I probably will be on my phone, avoiding his eye contact. But I earn another level of compassion. And all I see is a stranger looking at me, and all he's looking for is connection, simple human connection. As he get up to exit the restaurant, as you can see, he have like a pillow around his neck. And I know exactly what that pillow is for. I know he's sleeping with that in his car. And I asked him, what is that pillow? I'm looking for to start a conversation. And he started explaining what this pillow. He stand there for a minute too, and I asked him to join me because I'm still eating my breakfast. And we sit down and we talk. And interesting enough, it was actually both our mind. He was in Israel in 1968, the year I born, in the town I was born. 2 years later, he moved to Netanya, the town that I lived most of my childhood. That was amazing. Now, I know very much that I'm not here to judge the man because he was sharing with me that, because I asked him a few questions about being a homeless, and um, he was telling me about how he doesn't have a relationship with his daughter. Now, who I am to come and judge the man? I decided myself to disconnect myself from my own father and my family. Um, and I know that that is not what this conversation between two strangers. This is not about judgment. This is about giving each other the space to see each other. And it was beautiful. And if you think I gave Charles the most gift here? Not at all. Charles gave me the most. He really showed me the power of freedom. He preferred to be a homeless and to be somewhere when he felt like rules are being forced on him. 2 years later, I'm in California. I'm purposely trying to make sure that I will be in Pacific Grove at 6:30 in the morning in the same restaurant, trying to find Charles again, just to give the guy a hug. He made such an impact in my life that I would just wanted to say thank you. Unfortunately, Charles was not there. When I asked the waitress about Charles, she said a year ago he fell ill and his daughter came and took him. So at least that was very comforting. He was already quite old when I met him, so I don't know where is Charles, but Charles, you made a difference, just so you know. I stopped in one point in Oregon Pipe Cactus National Park, monument actually. Um, if anything this journey is giving me is the gift of letting go and acceptance. So I'm already a year and a half working on heading to Alaska. That is my main focus the first year, Alaska. But as I travel, I understand that my setup is not, it's just too much. I feel that I'm chewing too much. I'm not able to, it is not a smart decision to make. And I'm letting go after all this work. It was a relief and it was the right choice because I actually have more time to explore Canada that I really loved. So I'm getting to Zion National Park. and of course, Betty's meeting me in Zion. My main focus in Zion is to hike Angel Landing Trail. If you don't know about Angel Landing, it's one of the scariest trail in the United States. Honestly, I think they need to close it. Um, and a few years before that, I was there with my family, and don't ask me, but I did it. Shaking knees, heart beating. I'm afraid of heights. And I did it. And I felt that I owned this hike, a spiritual journey, a spiritual thank you. And today you need a permit to get to hike this. So Betty and I were trying for many days that we were there. I think like 3 4 days. Every day we were trying to get a permit there, and but we're not able to. The last day we decided that we're going to hike in that direction. There is a beautiful hike there. And by the way, I'll tell you a secret. You really don't need to do engine landing to be able to see the beautiful uh, um, view. There is one point before that that you can just see it. But anyway, we continue our hike. We ask people, and it's March. They say, well, most people actually decide not to do it. It's too icy. As we come back, the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. We ask a couple if they just came back from it and say, yeah, we put our spikes and it was fine. We asked them, well, so you have a permit? They said, no, no one's checking. Betty and I looking at each other, are we doing it? Yes, we do. So just remember, my fear of heights is going up. It's going down, not going up. As I go up, I'm like, wow. Now, the process of my writing is I actually record myself. I record my emotion, my feeling exactly at the moment. And I think that's why a lot of time I get beautiful compliments of women telling me that they feel they are hiking with me. So I take my phone and I record. Man, I feel amazing. I cannot believe I'm doing it. This is great. I go up and you can see I am absolutely feel totally like a badass there. I did it. Well, 2 seconds later, when it's time to count down, oh my goodness. A panic attack actually taking over me, and I know I cannot afford it. I asked Betty to go in front of me, and she's helped me going down. I do believe today that really, if every time I get to those fearful moments, that if I have another 5 inches on me, things will look different. But Betty actually described this hike the best. She said, Gila that went up is not the Gila that came down. And I will agree. I continue to Joshua Tree National Park. And wow, this is still will be forever a very special time in my life. Uh, I had 10 days of community living with beautiful women. So let me introduce you for a little bit. So Susan is sitting to the left. Sandra is sitting to the right. Carrie is standing, Laurie in the middle, and I'm there. So I met Susan in January in Quartzsite, Arizona. We hit it off very quickly. And I met Carrie in Phoenix a few weeks later. Susan and I know that we are going to be around Zion National Park around the same time, and we decided that we'll try to meet again. I tell her that I'm inviting Carrie, and she say, I will invite Sandra and Lori, and just incredible, beautiful community living. Now, I need to show you this picture on the bottom. This is me smiling going up. Right? Sandra was telling me, "Come join me. One of my favorite hike is to hike this. It's a beautiful hike." So I go with her, and I still don't know, Sandra, if you knew ahead of time about those two ladders going down, or but if anything, I learned about fear is the moment you lose confidence, it's a danger zone. So we're hiking, and I have to say, it was a beautiful hike. Sandra was right about that. And but as we are coming to the end, Sandra's telling me like, "Oops, I forgot about those two ladders that going down." Now, I think only when she saw what do you call it, the color draining from my face, she realized how fearful I am. But Sandra is totally a badass, and she was very confident and absolutely helped me to go down. So that was just another story to share. Um, but I wanted to share that image that I put there, just a reminder. So this is already 6 months into my travel. And so remember, I'm the passenger and I'm the driver. There's a lot of conversation going there. And already 3 months into my travel, I'm starting a conversation. You love it. Yes, you do. Can you keep doing it? Why not? What's stopping you? Really nothing. So I decided I set up a time to speak with my dear friend Eva Maria Norman. That I know when I talk to them, they will not tell me what I want to hear. They will tell me what I need to hear. And I share with them the thought that I cannot stop. The idea of going home and living back in a four-wheel apartment is just choking me. And I'm planning to come home, give my car to my son, and buy a minivan. And I think my friends, my boys, everyone can see the joy that this journey is bringing to my life. And they all encourage me, go for it. So I'm entering California, and it was a very wet winter. So I got a beautiful blooming California. Two beautiful women enter my life, Nikki and Barb, and we still today somehow again find ourselves meeting each other on the road. I stop in San Francisco to meet my son, and a new challenge enter my life. Um, I find myself in the ER with an attack of diverticulitis, something I never heard about before, never knew about it. I'm actually, unfortunately, dealing with it right now, so I will recover slowly. So my energy a little bit low, so excuse me on that. I also make sure that I'm on the Pacific. I'm going to hike a little bit of the Pacific crest because if anything, if there was one story that shook my world in the most beautiful way was the book Wild by Cheryl Stray. And she was hiking the Pacific Crest. And I don't know, after reading her story, I decided that if she can do it, I can do it as well. And I can still remember my first time hiking, backpacking, having my home on my back by myself in New Hampshire, just self-empowering in a way that I never felt before. It was a beginning, definitely a beginning of a beautiful journey for me. And I get to, of course, I have to show you the Oregon coast. Highly recommend putting on your bucket list. It's just incredible, incredible, rugged, wild, and road and landscape. Now, I will be after that skipping to Canada, and I'm not showing you uh, Olympic National Park because it did not happen as I was hoping for. Just a month after the first attack of the diverticulitis, I have a second one in Olympic National Park, and I find myself again in the ER. Now, I will tell you that was not my plan having ER as part of my journey, um, but I'm learning to adjust to this. So I'm getting to Canada. Oh, and I have the most absolutely pleasure and honor to celebrate your Independence Days in July 1st in Victoria. It was beautiful. And I have to say, the Lower Meyer Falls in Strathcona Provincial Park still will be one of my favorite waterfalls that I experienced. And again, of course, I visit Ramona and we travel a little bit. Also resting quite a lot before that, just trying to recover. And Ramona is gifting me a beautiful gift to take a day of whale watching on the Campbell River. And half day is kayaking and half day is continuing whale watching. Um, I always wanted, I mean, of course, we all want to see whales, but I could not top my experience. We are on the kayak. We are 4 of us with the guys, so we are 8 in the boat. They split us 4 and 4, and the guide get a message that a group of handbags are coming our ways. Now, I'm excited. I'm not even thinking about the danger of this situation. And I just can tell you, it was absolutely incredible experience seeing the humpback so close, jumping, and the sprout, the vibration in the air, everything was incredible. And I will, as again, thank you for Ramona for that beautiful gift. And I continue to Whistler. Whistler, you stole my heart. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful place. Um, Now, I also had to, by the way, to put a picture of Mount Robinson that was a little bit later. Um, but I got to Mount Robinson and all I had was rain for a few days. And of course, the moment I was about to leave to Jasper, uh, the sun came and gave me a little bit of a view of Mount Robinson. But then when I'm doing my research about Whistler, I fall in love with a picture of Garibaldi Lake, and it's a glacier lake, and it's the next picture. But I'm not going to stay that long on it because I'm very vulnerable on that. But I read that a lot of people actually swim in that lake. So I'm like, oh, I can do it. I'll put my bedding suit and I'll go. Um, I read it's a hard hike, but I have to say it was just a long hike, not necessarily hard. I get there, I sit on a log, and but all I hear is the scream, the painful scream of the people jumping into the lake. And I totally consider myself and my bravery level of how much I'm willing to do that. I sit there for an hour. First of all, the view is incredibly beautiful. A group of women come over, and somehow I decided that I'm going to do it. I'm changing for my bathing suit. I give the one of the girls my camera, and I really pretty much just want her to take a picture of me, kind of smiling. But I think you will figure out what happened when you jump into a glacial lake. So yes, it was beautiful, and I'm smiling. I'm absolutely smiling. After a few jumps, I'm smiling. And when I got to Jasper, actually, I had another experience to jump into a glacial lake, and I did it. And it's actually very addictive, but you need to do it a few times, and you just need to embrace that first shock. And of course, Jasper is I just put four pictures, but there was many of them, and incredible, beautiful. I'm heading in one point to Jasper later on, but I am really concerned what will be now seeing it after the fire. I hope, I have a feeling it will break my heart, but it's a beautiful place to see. And as we meet again, so Sandra and I, when we camp in Joshua Tree, I share my travel and I share that I'm going to be in Lake Louise. And she said, oh, I'm not far from there. So she came and we met. And by the way, at 5 o'clock in Sandra Van is happy hour, and she makes the best gin and tonic. So, but I want to share with you a story. I put especially a picture of me with these glasses because that's really, if, I don't know, probably you didn't notice, but that's not the glasses I'm putting. That usually what I'm wearing. And I'm sharing this story because it's a beautiful, that experience showed me um, the changes in me, how the letting go enter my life in such a beautiful way that I know a few months before that would not be. So what happened in Jasper, just a day before I left, I was just reading outside my table. I enjoyed the beautiful evening, and it's about time to go to bed, and I'm looking for my glasses. I cannot find my glasses. My favorite of all glasses. This is and I'm like, okay, never mind. You will find it in the morning. Flashlight, go to the bathroom. No, just tomorrow with the daylight you will find them. The daylight come, and I cannot find the glasses. Now I will be the first one to tell you that a few months before that I will be mad at myself. I will be mean to myself. It will be a very painful moment. But all I have is acceptance of the situation, And all I say to myself is like, you know what? I hope whoever find them will enjoy them as much as I do. And I just let go. The reward of this one, when I got home and I let Mike is my friend that built both of my vehicles, and his wife Wendy helped me to take my car apart. I hear Wendy screaming and I'm like, oh my God, look what I found. And here's my glasses. So there is a reward of just accepting things sometimes as they are. And I have the most amazing tour in the Fairmont Banff Spring Hotel. Sandra is taking me to incredible tour. She used to work there, and if I went there by myself, I will know they're opening rooms that she just opened, and we went in, and it was incredible, incredible. So thank you, my tour guide. I challenged myself to core pass. Phew, that was a hard one. And I'm ending Canada with Waterton Lake National Park. A beautiful, beautiful place. 72 days, incredible days in Canada. I enter and visit Glacier National Park, as I call it, nature on steroid. Just incredible. The reflection of the lakes on the water, everything about it is just blew my mind. Absolutely a place I would love to go again. And I'm heading home. Um, and I stopped in Badland National Park, and I just want to share a quick story, a funny story about, again, perspective. As I'm hiking, it's a very hot day. It's almost, I think, in like an hour temperature, 100 degrees. And I start a hike, and I know I'm by myself. There's no cars. And there is a very tall grass and a very narrow path to go. But there is big signs telling me, be aware of rattlesnake. Now, I'm afraid of rattlesnake. I'm actually terrified from it. But it's a very silence. And I figure out that I will hear the rattlesnake before I can see them. So I'm relaxed. I go. And it's not really a far path, but I go and I'm passing it and I continue 30 minutes maybe into my hike. Two young men coming my way and I say hello. And I say, oh, isn't that silence? It's so beautiful. And I said, one of them said, no, it's so eerie. I say, yes, but you can hear the rattlesnakes. You should see his face and the relief that enter his face. Like, oh my God, I'm more afraid of rattlesnake than the silence. Yes, he didn't know that he's actually heading to that path with all their there. But it was funny how just a little bit perspective can change your situation. I have another opportunity to meet with Sandra, with Susan and Lori as I'm heading back and stopping in Chicago. And I'm back home. I'm saying goodbye to my Mazda and I'm buying a Chrysler Pacifica. Now, at the beginning, I did put those two videos. I just had to cut so much to fit everything. But on my website, I put two links that if you ever want to see, you can find those links. And I built my car. Now, um, as you can see, I'm taking advantage of my height. I'm 4'11", and I'm sleeping window to window. And I have a little bit of a space to even have a living room, as I call it. I have a table. This box, gray box, is actually my bathroom, my toilet. It's simply just a trash bag with cat litter and a container, just that simple. I have a little bit of a kitchen in the back, and it's beautiful. I have my beautiful pit crew, as I call them, because this journey will be much challenging without amazing support from back home. And grief and the gift of sunshine. So it's December. It took me a while to, like, actually not that much to buy my car, but it's taken me a few weeks to build it up and get it ready. And I'm leaving December 2nd, I think. I was on the way. My idea is like to travel, to blog, and to write my book. Very quickly, I realized I cannot do that all. I would love to take all my heart and soul and put it into the book. So my friend, Eva Maria and Norman, have a house in Anna Maria Island, and they offer me to go and stay there. It is, the house is on kind of in construction, so I'm kind of mini camping in the house, but to put a roof above my head. I my day is pretty much 7 o'clock. I'm on the beach, hiking, walking for 4 miles, coming in, working all those day hours until 4:30, going for another 4 miles, working until 11 at night, going to bed, and again for 6.5 weeks. I've been working on the book, and externally, it's actually I published it on my birthday. Um, but what happened when I left, just 2 days before I left, I get a message from my family that my dad passed away. Now, I thought that whenever I get that message, of course I knew, you know that death is part of life, I will know where my emotions are. Uh, but they're far from what I thought. I have a lot of anger coming in me. And the anger is coming from the fact that I actually want to celebrate my dad's life, but I don't have one single good memory to do that with. And I'm sad, anger, and very surprised from all the emotion coming up. My son recommended me that I will write a letter to my dad. I take this journey of grief to much more depth, and I write my dad 4 letters from different stage of my life. And again, immerse myself in that process with all my heart, and it take maybe again, I will say like a week into my travel to come to a place where I really, you know, turn my eyes to the skies and tell my dad, release yourself from the guilt, because I can tell you that every time it was doing wrong by me, you can see the guilt, and I'm letting him release that. I am fine with it. I'm moving forward. Let it go, and it's a beautiful uh, peace in my heart. I did not choose to fly to Israel to the funeral. I decided I will um, do my own ceremony when time comes. Um, 30 days in the Jewish religious, usually you put the stone up on the grave. I choose that day. I wake up in the morning, I go on the beach, I choose very intentionally beautiful few shells. I go and I find a spot and I dig a hole. I put 3 shells in, I cover, I put another few shells on, and whatever I remember from the Jewish prayer for the death, I recite and I let go. And it was it just ignoring the reason. One of the reasons I'm sharing is like because for my own self, I see that when I put myself into a journey of healing, in a journey of acceptance, and everything that come with it, and forgiveness, the only thing that I give, the gift that I give myself, is beautiful. And I'm getting to New Orleans now. This has been already like probably through the first year. I've been listening to the beautiful books of Pema Chadram, When Things Fall Apart. And listening most of it when a lot of fear enter me. And every time I hear something else, as I'm heading to New Orleans, now this is the first time that I'm actually posting where I'm heading. I usually make sure for my own safety to post after my experience. First of all, I need to experience it, but also I don't want to include where I'm going. But this time I'm kind of saying my view destination. One of my follower is offering me to come stay with her, park my car, and she will take me and tour me New Orleans. Now, it's been happened a few times, and I can tell you it's incredible. Of course, I say yes. I recognize her from the beginning. I make sure I go and I talk to her on the phone. I just don't go and knock on people's strangers. But as I'm getting closer, the chapter that Pema Chadram is sharing is about the squeeze in life. And she shared that the growth come not when things are easy in life, not when things is going smoothly. It's when life squeezes us to that corner and we don't know what to do. So I get to Linda's house. She tell me where to park. It's a Sunday, we are heading to New Orleans. We get into our car. She put her in reverse, and boom, my new car, to me anyway. I still remember sitting there in that chair. It's a matter of second, and I say, "Okay, Gila, you got to squeeze. What you gonna do about it?" And I come out. We both come out, and all I can hear is Linda agony about what's happening. Now I don't know Linda. She can tell me get away from her uh, property, and that's the end of the things. And I decided that this is not time for me to think about my car. It's just a vehicle. I have a person next to me that is really in painful emotion. And I turned to her and said, Linda, it's an accident. It could happen. Right away, Linda, stand for her integrity. And she said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. So the 3 days that I was planning to be in New Orleans lasted 3 weeks. It was a very challenging, emotional, challenging part of my journey. But I do have to tell you, that smile, that was the Sunday, is a genuine one. I really worked so hard that day to stay in the moment and enjoy what in front of me and not what I need to deal later on to the next day. What interesting actually was seeing my car in such a disarray was heartbreaking. I did not realize how much I already was attached to my little home. And I get to Boulder, the quiet weight of a big decision, the courage to let go. So, what's supporting me? My support me is my apartment. I'm renting my apartment. It's a great support. It's able me to be on the road. I left a very successful business. I'm a home and color designer, but I decided that my dream is more important than my financial place. And I decided I do speak again with Eva Maria Norman because of a big decision, but I need the blessing of my sons. And when I get to Boulder, I did come again to visit me. And I share with them that I'm planning to sell my apartment. I don't want it anymore. It's too heavy on me. It is more weight than anything else. I don't want anymore um, anything that give me supposed to give me kind of the feeling of security. It does not. Um, and so I do decide to that I do get the blessing and I start the process of selling my apartment. Um, in the meantime, I continue to Canada. It's getting closer to June. And I have a beautiful, I mean, honestly, guys, you have incredible country. I just in love with your country. And I get to Canada and I wanted to introduce you to Janet. Janet lives in Ottawa and she's another lady that follow me and she sent me a beautiful, beautiful email at one point and we could start kind of a conversation through emails. And we learned that we share, that we read the same books, we have the same philosophy to life. And she chose to, she asked me to, at one point she know that I'm heading to Bruce Peninsula National Park, and she asked me if she can join me. Of course, I love those connections. So I'm introducing it to you because later on you'll see a beautiful story. But as you can see, I saw many beautiful places in in Canada before I get to Newfoundland. When surrender became the only way forward. So my big mission, I'm on a mission, absolutely. Icebergs. I know that in June, the icebergs in St. Anthony will be there. I'm aware that I might be challenged by weather, and oh man, I was challenged with the weather. It was cold, it was wet. I have very few days of sun, the beginning anyway. I have 6.5 weeks plans to travel in Newfoundland. I'm taking a ferry, 7 hours ferry, and I will from the west side, and will come back from the east side of a 16 hours ferry. I'm totally excited about Newfoundland. I actually knew about Newfoundland through Ramona, and when I started doing research, I decided that will be a good destination for me. A week and a half into my travel, guess what happened? Another attack of diverticulitis. Now, I'm in the west side and it's quite remote. I do stop in a gas station and ask the guy, what is my option? He did beautifully share with me a phone line that of nurses in Canada, and I go on the phone and I speak with a nurse, and she highly recommended me to get again to an ER. I mean, come on, that was not definitely not my intention here. I asked her, what is my option? She said, 2 hours south and 2 hours north. I'm like, whoa, okay. Well, I'm not giving up yet on my icebergs, so I'm continuing north. I get my antibiotic, but I am going down very quickly in my energy, and my pen level is quite high. Now, one of the Facebook group that I post have a map of women that offer their driveway for parking. And of course, there's one in Newfoundland, and guess what? It's in San Antonio. Tony, not lucky for me. I reached out to Renee a few months before, and she said, absolutely, you're welcome. She said, I might not be home. We go on the phone just as I'm traveling back toward her, and she said, how's everything? I decided to be honest. I said, I am not feeling well. She said, just go into my house. Just feel at home. I'm not there. My parents are not far from there, 2 homes away. Just go in and set yourself. So I do, and I rest, and finally one day there is sun. I decide that no matter where my level and how I'm much in pain, I came to see iceberg, and I'm going to see iceberg. I get a little boat with my own captain. The two people that were supposed to came did not come to join us, so I definitely was my own boat. And as you can see, beautiful, beautiful icebergs. In one point, he asked me, he said, like, well, I always make sure that I ask people because there is a huge iceberg further away, but we need to travel for it a bit. So I want to make sure, is that okay with you? I said, well, you really don't know who you're dealing with. Let's go. And it was absolutely an art museum. Just so we were circling the iceberg from different direction, back and forth. It was just, with the light and the sun, it was worth it. Um, but I get back and I'm all spent. I am like zero energy. I'm laying in bed, and I think that day I really understood the peaceful gift of surrender, because I understand that I have no choice. I need to change my plan and I need to go home. But that understanding, that doesn't come from a place of disappointment. It doesn't come from a place of anger of this is my situation. It's just a simple acceptance and surrender to my situation. Later on, I understand. I mean, in a sense, I think the universe know how stubborn I am, and it need to get me. I needed to get back home because my apartment was a co-op, so I cannot sell it without approval of the board. And my tenant was applying to get the apartment, but a week before I got home, she was denied. So I needed to be home much earlier to set it up to put it on the market with a realtor. So but I hope one day to be back in Newfoundland. So I'm heading back home, and I have to stop at the Bay of Fundy and see the incredible fast tide, high tide. And I stop, of course, in the White Mountain in New Hampshire. That's again a very special place in my heart. I get back home early, and I have the most, again, a beautiful opportunity to ride my bike. This is one toy that I don't have with me, and I miss it every time. And every time I'm back home, as much as I can, are on my bike. Um, I have my last hurrah in my apartment, and I have, since I got earlier than I expected, I have some time, and I explored the Adirondacks just for the beauty of it. Now, my solution for selling my apartment. So now I'm working with much less fund. But I'm not giving up on this lifestyle. I need to adjust how I do it. Now, I can tell you after 2 winters on the road, there is no warm state. And the state that it's put me, it's Arizona and Texas and Florida. I'm a mountain girl. This is too flat for me. So my solution is taking a seasonal job. And my first seasonal job is in Winter Park Resort as a lost and found attendant. And I have to tell you, that's pretty much the story of my life. And the stories that came from that lost and found room was incredible. So much uh, wisdom and so much beautiful stories of just life and how we see things was very fascinating. I have beautiful coworkers, Maria and Chandler, and I have one hike that I usually take, and I see this. I don't know if you see that branch, the heavy branch with when there's snow go, and I put the heavy branch on it, and it feels like me. The heaviness of selling my apartment, it is quite heavy. I mean, doing it remotely, been challenging, and every time I cross that branch, I shake it off. And all I wish that someone will shake off this tension that I have from selling my apartment. Um, it took me 6 months to sell my apartment. I paid for emptier place for 6 months, so all this idea of saving for travel in the summer, I had to change a little bit. But March come and I sell my apartment, and wow, what a relief. Um, with the sale of my apartment, I also donate in the last 3 years, every time I came home, 98% of my belongings. I didn't want to sell it. I wanted to give it to people to enjoy. And wow, not having much to my life, to my name, and having less is incredible, incredible. Um, I feel so light. It just highly recommend. So I have only 6 weeks of travel that time because again I don't have the funding to travel so much in the summer, and I do take another seasonal job for the summer. But in the meantime, I travel to California. My son Adi is recommend me to go and be part of a meditation retreat in Madonna, California, and that's really my main focus. I can tell you that sitting and meditating with 75 people that all their wish is world peace is powerful. And I hope one day we'll all be able to experience that. But I traveled through California, stop again to Pacific Grove with the hope to see Charles, but I get at my Pelican, so it's and I celebrate Charles' life with those pelicans. Um, and I continue to Yosemite. Now you get to places that your heart break from the beauty of nature. It's giving you so much. It's hard for me to explain in words, but Yosemite is and I was there at the beginning of, as you know, when I came here, I traveled with my ex coast to coast, and we came to Yosemite, but I did not have the same awe that I received this time. There was something about the vast of the landscape. It's almost you have almost everything in there. You have the waterfall, you have the mountain, you have the valleys in one area. Now, one extraordinary and profound moment happened to me in Yosemite, and I want to read to you from my book. When I practiced back on my room, I didn't have a microphone holding, so hold on. I need some more light. I stand still under the shade of a tree, taking in the stunning view before me. Half Dome share her silence with me, and a visit from a hummingbird clear my mind, allowing an immersive realization to land softly in my heart. I was always on the right path. My breath catch as everything come into sharp focus. A profound aha moment that I know will change everything. I was on the right path from the very first heartbeat in my mother's womb, even through witnessing her slow and painful death at such a young age. Through the grief, the loss, the hollow aches of her absence that still linger in my heart, I was always on the right path. My beloved grandparents, who love wrap around me like a warm blankets. My father, who through his pain taught me one of the most important lessons of all, how not to treat people. I was always on the right path. Siblings I never felt connected to, the sweetness of childhood, friendships. I was always on the right path. The joyful years of my marriage and the many years of betrayal that followed, I was still on the right path. The sacred privilege of becoming a mother, the unconditional love I carry for my boys. I was always on the right path. All the love and all the heartbreaks, every soul who crossed my journey, every path who left paw prints on my heart, they are all part of my path. For a long time now, I have described my journey as one that chose me. But the truth is, I could never have come to love life so fully. I could never have learned to appreciate both the rise and the fall without understanding this. I was always on the right path to understand the beauty of surrender, the humility and the simplicity of the lives we are granted is through our wisdom, grace, wonder, love, and gratitude, and to fully receive the endless embrace of God love and the love of the universe for all. What a beautiful realization. I do not know if you can feel that peace in my heart right now, finally coming to recognize it fully. All the suffering, carrying within it extraordinary beauty. This realization so clear, so gentle, that my path was always there from the very first heartbeat, feel like being held in the most loving, tender embrace. And that is what nature from oops. And that is what nature for me. It's a pure mirror to my deepest of my soul. It gives me the opportunity to be raw and open with myself and to find my voice through nature. And I will always be grateful for the universe to create for all of us such beauty. So as I said, I needed to take another job for the summer, and I end up in the YMCA of the Rockies in Estes Park, Colorado. I come as art instructor, and as you can see, beautiful pictures happening in Colorado. I learned that if I want to get my solitude, I need to wake up at 4 in the morning. The amount of people there are too much for me, but I have everything that I need. I have my in my car, so I wake up at 4 in the morning. I get to my find my parking, and I start making my breakfast, my coffee, and make my lunch. But I get the beautiful lighting of the day. Now the pictures to the bottom of the right is a pond that I came upon when I was hiking the Ute Trail. And just so you know, today is my pond, but you're welcome to go and visit it. I did fall in love with this pond. I actually wrote a poem to it. Um, and unfortunately this winter I did not have a chance because the road is closed. But before I go to the next slide, I want to share with you what happened when you get to a place and you decide to take a deep breath because you found out that um, I thought that I'm taking a job with a low, with a what is called a minimum wage. I'm like, okay, and I misunderstood, but I thought that I'm room and board is free. I'm making my calculation. Okay, I can do that. I get to the Y and I learn that, oops, I'm actually need to pay for my room and board. I still remember standing in the road and I'm like, oops, let me see what I'm actually earning. Ouch, $8 an hour. But I take a deep breath and I tell to myself, you know very well, Gila, that if you knew that ahead of time, you will not take this job. The universe put you here for a reason. Why do you stick around and find out what it is? The second day that I'm in the craft center, that by the way, it's incredibly craft center, um, they put me in the glass fusion. Now, never heard about a glass fusion. I always wanted to be a glass blower, but never heard about a glass fusion. And very quickly, I literally all my artistic skills melt with the glass, and I found a new passion. And that $8, it doesn't matter. I just have a new love in my life. I love teaching it. I love creating with it. And as I say, when the creative soul comes to shine, surrender and melt into its light. So I committed to come back to go back in November to Estes Park to the Y and spend another winter there. It was incredible winter. As it's as where is that? Oh no, so it's not yet. Okay, so that's actually was the summer. Sorry. But today I did committed to come back later and next winter to be there. But I have 6 weeks, but I take like 5 weeks to travel in Colorado and explore a little bit of it. I always wanted to see more of Colorado, and I see beautiful, beautiful places. The Manitou Incline is actually considered to be, that's the picture on the upper left, one of the challenges hikes in Colorado. I think it's like 2,000 elevation in less than a mile. And of course, I enjoy challenges, so I decided to give it a try. I think after the fifth steps, I realized what I'm up to, but I decided to take it as I take my life today, one step at a time. And I did it. I had to give this hike, is on slide, um, the gift of stranger on the Ice Lake Trail. That's in Silverton. I know I really would love to do this hike. I do read that it's very hard, and I have to tell you, this hike kicked my butt. I think that's very unusual for me to start a hike and think about turning around and going down. As I get to an intersection, I see two guys, and I kind of expressing my frustration a little bit with this hike, and both of them tell me, yes, it's hard. The young guy, Nick, is telling me I'm thinking the same way. As we talk, I realize they are actually not together. Steve is from Brooklyn, Nick is from Pennsylvania, and in a sense, New York, New Jersey area. So we decided that the East Coast team will try to conquer it together. Don't ask me, but somehow I'm the leader. But I think it helped me push myself a little bit, faster. 30 minutes into our hike, a lady joined us. Her name is Sasha, and guess what? She's from Connecticut. So we definitely the East Coast group. Incredible hike, one of the really beautiful, beautiful landscape. We experienced in 30 minutes hail, sun, rain, wind. On the way down, Nick and Steve was in the back talking, and Sasha and I were having a beautiful, vulnerable conversation. It almost felt like a kinder spirit, you know, that I met. Sasha and I, when I went back home, uh, did met again, and if you can see, she came and visited me again. We are keeping beautiful relationship and friendship going. So I get to the Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park. And sometimes you get to places, and even if I can tell you, even myself, it was very hard to explain the depth and the beauty that this place have. The Black Gunnison have the north side and the south side. The north is more remote. They are an hour and a half apart from each other. So if you ever have a chance and you can do only one, highly recommend the north one. So I put this section here of the picture because I want to share with you of how we really are truly all connected, how this is a small world and how beautiful um, we have with each other, the beauty of love. So I'm in the north campground, the north side, and there's no reception. The day before, Susan and Susan is also a full-time nomad, and we try often to be in touch to check on each other. So the day before, I'm on the phone with her, and I know she's in Canada. She is traveling. I'm also still in contact with Janet, and I know she's also traveling in Canada. Well, traveling. She's Canadian. She's traveling to the east of Canada. And as I come out, my phone starts beeping with messages, and I get a messenger from Janet with a picture of Susan. I'm like, what's wrong with my phone? Um, then I get a text with Susan with a picture of both of them together. And I'm like, I call Susan, I was like, what is that? What happened here? He said, you will not believe it. I'm on Five Island Provincial Park. It's a beautiful park. I actually just thought to stay one day, but it's so beautiful. I'm staying more days. And a lady come toward me and start having a conversation with me. And we're talking, and then from nowhere, she asked me, are you part of the group Road Trip Her? It's a Facebook group. And she said, yes. And she said, and do you know Gila Melamed? It's like, what? I just spoke with her the other day. So just a simple story of how truly, the world is a very small world. And I get to Maroon Bell. So Maroon Bell, I was not aware of this hike. My son was telling me it's supposed to be a very famous hike in Aspen. And I made a reservation for parking back in June, and this is September 23rd. Now, then evening before at 4 o'clock, the rain start. I'm stuck in my car, and waking up in the morning early. I need to be in the parking lot before 8 o'clock. So I wake up much earlier, still in the dark, because I do want to avoid the crowd. And the rain is still going. I'm heading up, and I'm realizing I'm actually going up in elevation because the rain becomes snow. Luckily, when I get there, the snow stopped, but I was not planning to stop. I waited all those months for this hike. I put all the gear needed to hike in the rain, the snow, whatever I need. And as you can see, I had a very foggy day, but I let this fog show me that even still, in the days that we have fog, there is a beauty behind it. And it's, I actually think the fog added a very mystical and beauty. Of course, I got one chance to see the beautiful foliage as the sun lifted up. Um, but otherwise, it was just incredible. I will try to visit that place one day with maybe not in the winter or in the fall. And it's time to get back again. I'm taking this opportunity um, to share with you a vision. Now, I stop again in Custer State Park, and I met a beautiful soul that made all this effort from U.S. to come and be here with me, Betty, and her mother. That to show you that never too late to have a dream. She always wanted to be in Canada, and here you are. Um, but I wanted to share with you a vision of mine, and one of the reasons I keep sharing this vision is to keep myself committed to it. 3 weeks, 3 months into my travel, one of the Facebook that I'm posting is a solo women that travel in the car. Now, I will tell you very well that living in my car, it is not easy. It's very harsh, very hard, but I love it. It put me smack in the middle of nature where I want to be. So I love it. But a lot of the story that came from that group of women that are been forced to live in their car. Uh, if they're running from abuse or they're financially in a harsh place, and it breaks my heart. And somehow I decided that I will one day want to create a nonprofit organization that will support those kind of a women. It will be a campground setting, um, and there will be a main building that will, of course, will have a art center, as I'm a big believer in the art, in the healing process, and for us to find beauty in ourselves. And there will be a lot of learning and emotional support to help women. Sorry, guys, it's only for women. Um, and we will try to be as much as self-sustained. Um, and there will be goat because I do like goat cheese. But we'll grow our own food and try to create a community to help others. I'm making sure that it is a nonprofit because greed cannot come into it. And the women that will come will get their own tiny home, will get healthy meals. And again, one of the reasons I'm sharing it because this is not an I project, it's a we project. So I need other women to join me. And one of my biggest challenge is land. So if maybe someone will hear it and will have a land that will be one part of it and want to list it, that will be a good way. But so far, my vision is in Colorado because I do love the almost everyday sun in Colorado. Um, and I'm back to the winter, to the Rockies, and I have beautiful friends that willing to come and do some full moon hikes with me. And Betty is coming for a visit. My friend from Winter Park coming for a visit. Sasha is coming for a visit. My boys twice. I had both Adi twice came from San Francisco. Ron today live in Denver, and I have beautiful co-workers. It's been incredible. It was hard to live, but knowing I will be back in November, make the goodbye sweet. So just wanted to a little bit about my books. Um, I have a live blog, and it's free to read. There is a way to support, but there is no difference between the free or the support. The support right now is feeding my emergency fund. The difference between my blogs and my books is I have the most incredible opportunity to reflect on a year, on an honest year, because I write to myself. I don't write in any way to satisfy anyone else. I write to myself. And when I put together the book, I get to places and emotions that in the past really hold me back or made me feel uncomfortable, and today they are gone. So I have opportunity to have afterthoughts into the book. So that's really the difference between my books and my blog. Um, so what next? Oh, I'm excited. Um, so that is my map through Canada. I'm pretty much taking traveling from the from the west to the east, hopefully this time to get to Nova Scotia. And I think I'm done being sick, being unwell. I will rest for a while and continue. Um, this QR code will get you to my website, but I also have business card there that you can get to my website. I hope my experience, my story, gently woke up the quiet dreams living in your hearts and invite you to pause and ask yourself, what about my dream? If you're waiting for the right time, I want to tell you this. There's no perfect time to follow a dream. A dream is a quiet wish in our hearts to give ourselves something that no one else can give us. One thing is guaranteed in life, and that is our last breath. In the meantime, I hope you feel inspired to make the best of the time you have. I hope you sense between the line my quiet message that happiness is a choice we make. It is our responsibility to ourselves to choose how to live life. I hope I'm a simple example of how our past can become our greater teacher, guiding us to walk in the present as we move toward the future. I wish there was a way to show you the person I used to be and the level of anxiety that once lived in me. Today, I'm much more relaxed into life, allowing the universe to guide me and giving myself permission to be happy and free. I hope you give yourself the same permission. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gila. What a beautiful journey, inspirational, courage. I have much to think about myself, I think, and how I'm living my life and what I'm doing to contribute. And I'm sure you've given all of us really something inspiring. So thank you. We have time just for probably 2 questions. And it was a very thorough and complete presentation. I do have one, I'm going to ask one question. So, from your travels and everywhere that you've been, obviously North America,
Yes.
is there somewhere off of North America that is on in sort of the top 3 of your bucket list?
There is. So, New Zealand. And so I didn't have time this winter to work on it, because guess what I worked on? This presentation. And I'm not kidding, it was like a constant working on, and I hope you enjoyed it. But I'm thinking actually to go to New Zealand, maybe do a seasonal work for a little bit, get the idea, because I realize driving it is in the wrong side. So I need to practice that. And it's funny because I did share that dream with my boys, and I said, but I will need to take some saving from my, saving from out of my saving because it will be too expensive. And Ron, my youngest son, said, Mom, guess what? If you're not going to take that $10,000 you're thinking, when you're gone, I will take it and I'll go. So you better take it. So I think I will listen to him. But I might work on it next year, and I will do it the year maybe after it.
All right, thank you. One more round of applause for Gila. Thank you so much. We have a small gift of things that we think that you'll love. There's coffee and chocolate and a book and of course a bag, which
Yes.
we would love to thank you on behalf of Wings.
Thank you. You know that now I will have to take a bag out to be able to
Yeah.
put this back in.